And we are live. So, welcome to episode 275 of An American Werewolf in New Jersey. I am the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, we got Aku.
Cool. Samurai.
That always reminds me of that old Sanford and Son where Pat Morita played Achu. And every time Lamont would say, "Hey, Achu," Fred would say "Gesundheit," and so that's the kind of stuff we grew up with. That's it. And we've got John K. Alvarez, the number 8 samurai, coming in off the bench, the designated samurai. He's the DS. Thank you for.
When I needed a break, I come in.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, due to some technical difficulties, I didn't get to nearly as many Kurosawa movies as I wanted to, but finally, I've got my tech issues sorted. But we did get through quite a few, and not everyone was a live stream. And if you check them on the channel, you'll see Akira, which was maybe his finest movie as far as I'm concerned. We've got High and Low. And that was good. Is this mirroring correctly, or is this you can see it's mirroring correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. We covered in the live stream. We certainly covered Ran. That was one, and another one that we covered most recently was Rashomon. But now we come to that's 4. Okay, that's not a huge summer. But now we get to perhaps his most popular film, and I'm talking about Seven Samurai. So if you guys are ready to go, shall we get it going?
Boogie woogie. Oh, that's your line. Sorry.
That's quite all right. So I guess the first question I'll start out with, although usually it's, how'd you like the movie kind of thing, I'm going to start out with something a little different. Is this a film for modern audiences? I don't think that people have the attention spans anymore we grew up watching films like The Ten Commandments and Ben-Hur and Lawrence of Arabia and Apocalypse Now and The Godfather. It seemed like, pretty much every year you got your 3-hour classic, maybe your 4-hour classic. My favorite movie is Lawrence of Arabia. It's like 4 hours long. Now, if something is coming in at, stretching 2 hours, people start to get antsy. Is this a film for, maybe, people younger than us? I see Aku, Gesundheit, over there saying, making a little face. But I think people younger than us are struggling. Maybe some millennials, with the rare exception, maybe some Gen Zs, and now you have the Gen Alphas, who have like video game attention spans. Is this a film for modern audiences? Aku, John K. Alvarez, whoever wants to go.
I would say that watching this movie, more than the other two Kurosawa movies, felt like a homework assignment. The 3.5 hours was a hard slog, and I found myself getting a little distracted here and there. And it's not that I don't appreciate the movie. I really do. Brilliant cinematography, writing. He wrote the book on the action epics. Everything about it is 100% brilliant. But for me, there was also the cultural aspect. There was a lot of humor in there that I knew I was missing because I'm not, it's not 1955 and I'm not Japanese. So I was missing a lot of that. So when you say, is it for modern audiences? I don't know. Is it for American audiences? Not really. It's a hard go. Like I famously say, I don't know jack shit about samurai movies, although I should, since this is like the 6th or 7th one that I've watched with you now, so I'm almost an expert. But I missed a lot, even though making it through the whole thing, there are definitely moments that were just so fucking good. It didn't hold together for me. I could not make it through it. So I will admit my attention span was a bit blinkered on this one.
So you would say not a film for the modern American audience?
Not the ones raised on Marvel. No, absolutely not. Video games and TV. It was hard for me. I can't imagine my students who, are dopamine addicts. If you take their phone away for an hour, they get schizo. I can't imagine them putting their phone down and watching a 3.5 hour movie that they have to read and struggle with themes and cultural shifts. They might be able to make it through 3.5 hours of, Spider-Man and, 1,000 robots and Captain America throwing his shield at space monsters, maybe, but no, can't say that it would capture people.
Yeah, no wrong answer here. John K. The number 8, the Designated Samurai, as one of the tribe. How did you feel about your 7? Is this for modern? Is this for today?
I think it depends on which group you talk with. Like, of course, anybody who's wanting to be going to a film buff or go into filmmaking, I mean, this is mandatory. This is filmmaking 101 at the very least. But I was thinking about that because I was actually having a problem with my streaming service. That's why I was a little late tonight when I was saying it, because South Jersey in the summertime, everybody's down here and we only have one tower. So we're fighting for streaming.
Fucking shoobies.
But
stealing all your fucking bandwidth, man.
I know, man. I know. But the thing is, I was noticing it kept breaking up in 30-minute increments. And I sat there and I went, that might be a way to do it. A way of and actually even addressing some of the stuff Bill was saying. Instead of showing them the 3.5 hours, especially now with things the way streaming is, you can offer them a 3.5 hour version of it, or break it down and even at the end do like a director's cut, or have someone like Quentin Tarantino,
a Snyder
or
cut,
have someone like, and give a 10-minute thing to explain what they may have not understood, and even tell them, why don't you go back and watch it, or see all the pieces, get all the information, and then watch it all the way through.
Yeah, it would make a good six episode miniseries.
I would say so. About 6. I would say 5 or 6 episodes.
A limited series.
But,
a limited series.
But to sit in a movie theater, I would love to have seen this watching in the movie theater. But then again, I love 3.5 hour movies if it's a good movie.
I would have the hugest fucking bucket of popcorn, and I would just sit there,
God,
like a motherfucker, and just glorify in all of it. But I think that it's an interesting thing, and I think John has a point in terms of presentation, because you can get people to stay up all night and binge a season of The Bear, or Stranger Things, or when the new Cobra Kai drops, or whatever's going on on HBO this month, or
I'll sit through all 3 extended versions of the Lord of the Rings every year, all 3 at some point.
But what ends up happening
with long movies?
Well, yes and no, because it's a select audience that can sit through Lord of the Rings, but not everybody can do that. I remember going to see The Return of the King with my oldest friend, and we saw the theatrical release. Of course, we weren't going for extended in the theaters, and I remember. There's that scene at the end where they defeat Sauron, and Sam and Frodo, they look like they're going to die on the mountain. And he says to Sam, I'm glad to be here with you, man, at the end of it, and then it fades to black. And then you see, Gandalf flying in on the eagles, and because it fades to black. And, my buddy leaned over at me and I never forgot this. He said, "There's more."
Well, that movie does
a good 25 minutes, son.
Oh yeah, but I hope you got no plans for the next, fucking hour, by the time we get out of the parking lot and all that shit. So, yeah,
more on the radio.
the thing of it is that with these streaming shows nowadays, I've been told that the studios hire psychologists so that they understand psychologically where to end an episode, to leave you on the cliff, where you got to go back and get that next hit, like Bill said of Aku Gesundheit said of dopamine. I'm rewatching a little bit of fun. Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland, you guys were talking about him earlier, in 24. And every time the hour ended, it ended on this amazing cliffhanger. I don't think that this is, and John made a reference also too, for film buffs or actors or, people who want to get into the film industry. I keep hearing these stories from young actors, prominent actors nowadays, with few exceptions. I think Chalamet is an exception. He seems to be a bit of a buff, but of actors who don't watch movies. Like they don't have any film history, you couldn't tell to them about old noir films or, any sort of 70s, you couldn't talk to them about Cassavetes. You're not going to find them in the Criterion closet, picking out, some La Jetée, or something like that. I think that these sorts of films, the audience for them is getting smaller and smaller, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, I don't think this is a modern audience at all. And increasingly you see people from the big YouTube channels. It's too long. It was almost 2 hours. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
These are the guys who would have complained about a music video back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. Saying it was too long.
Now, to the opposite of that, this movie spends so much time and is so careful in crafting the characterization of each of the main characters. I would beg for that in 90% of the movies I watch, 90% of the TV shows I watch. I want that meticulous character building, not necessarily an hour and a half of it to start the movie through 7 characters plus 10 peripheral characters, but it was brilliant if there was 3 samurai and it sped through in about 25 minutes, but was that careful.
3 samurais and a baby.
Bill would change it to 3 or 4 samurai. That'd be the title.
Well, it's like with a Stephen King novel. I mean, I've talked to friends who have read it who said he takes too long to get into the subject. I've heard that also about an Ernest Hemingway novel. My mother loved Ernest Hemingway, but she turned around and said sometimes he takes 3 pages to describe tying one shoelace.
Oh, no.
And she loved him. But And
How many
I
times
really
people
think
can
it's
talk
what
about
it
the
is.
fucking trees, man? It's
But if,
yeah.
if it's a good story, to me, and I'm old fashioned, but that's just me. I'm old fashioned that way. If it's a good story, I'll sit and watch it because it's a good story, or I'll sit and read it because it's a good story. I think there's a lot of people who don't know what a good story is.
Yeah,
They're
it's
fed
true.
so much with a clip
We
Yeah,
are a
or
little
such
bit
a short,
illiterate.
tight
Yeah.
thing
yeah.
that they don't know what to do when it expands
Yep.
or how to, sit and enjoy the tale.
It's like the person that
TikTok.
grows up eating shitty pizza, and when they finally get great, awesome pizza, they look at it like it's garbage because they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
That happened to me once overseas. When I first went overseas, um, these ladies that were like housekeepers, I was talking to them and I'd see them every day, and they would always drink Nescafe coffee. And I remember one time I actually went out and bought them like real authentic coffee with like beans. I ground it up for them and everything. They didn't know what to do with it. They didn't want it. They wanted to get back to Nescafe. They couldn't. They're like, what are you doing? Like, oh, thank you. And then they were like, yeah, just couldn't make the transition. Couldn't make the turn.
I know people who love Godiva chocolate. I give it away all the time. I am not. To me, it tastes like wax. And I have friends and like ex-girlfriends who used to smack me saying, "It's Godiva." I said, "It can go away." It's not. Give me a Hershey bar. I'm sorry, I'm old fashioned.
All right, let's turn a little bit here. Now, when we were talking about Rashomon, we said that in 1950, Japan was not ready for a film that took a hard look at truth. That was very critical of truth. They just weren't up for it. You just had 2 atomic bombs dropped on them. They're feeling shamed by the whole world. They got their asses kicked. They caused great harm to the world. They almost destroyed their own country. Kurosawa used that mood to create what I thought was a 90-minute fantastic film, just about the subjectivity of truth, and how everybody lies, not just to others, but to themselves, so on and so forth. Wasn't popular in Japan. 4 years later, he comes back, and everybody is very much open to this idea of a film of weary warriors that aren't romanticizing combat, defending some downtrodden, not exactly, innocent lambs, but defending the innocent. Coming forward with a kind of anti-war message. Yeah, this isn't glamorous. As they talk to that one young guy who wants to be a samurai, as they, even Mifune a little bit, although he's off doing his own thing. Your friends are going to die. Your heart's going to get broken. That's what's going to happen here. Like, this isn't going to be a party. This isn't like some, Japanese kegger. With like girls flying everywhere and, riches and everything like that. Like, it's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
We know, we've been there. And maybe 9 years after the war, this was the message that Japan was ready to start hearing.
Well, I'm sure Japan had a hard time getting back into normalcy, and it's no accident that he picked this the 16th century, time of civil wars when Japan was, just engulfed in war for almost 100 years, just constantly, at war with itself, and using that time period to, it's basically a love story to the peasants, to the common person, the working class. It's probably very much needed, because of course they're the ones that suffer the most when there is a war, because they have almost no recourse, and that's part of the theme of the movie. So it's very much a intentional sort of examination of why can't we all get along kind of thing. To simplify
it's a beautifully filmed cautionary tale. As much as it was needed and everything else, there's a lot of advice, like from the old man and from the older samurai, telling them, what to expect, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
Because
this reminds me way too much like The Art of War.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, everybody in there is defeated. When the samurai start to meet and they go through the recruitment phase, and to be clear, this I should have said this earlier, this film right now is available to stream on HBO Max.
Yes, do it.
So, yeah, go do it. If you need to watch it in 30-minute increments, that's fine, but just fucking watch it. It's one of the greatest films of all time. But, when you talk to these guys in their recruitment phase, oh my God, they're talking to each other. I never thought I'd see you again. What happened? I ran away. I just hid under this bridge. It wasn't, I went down and kicked everybody's ass. And, it wasn't Schwarzenegger or Stallone or Jason Statham. The guy says, when you're fighting, you run. When you're retreating, you run. When you stop running, that's when you die. When you can't run anymore, that's when it's all over with. Yeah. And it's just this fantastic meditation about defeated people, sort of having to take this last stand, like right on the verge of death. The samurai are starving. They're only doing this for almost philosophical reasons, but they're being paid in food.
Yeah, I mean the fulcrum, the center of the movie, even though there's all these characters, is the original samurai who is set up as a selfless guy who is very clever and very smart, and who we're watching him through the eyes of the Mifune character, and he is like the one. It's like the one patriot, the one guy who is going to be an example in this fucked up society that they're in, and that's how it's set out. When he saves that kid by disguising himself as a priest and even shaving his head, which would have been a dishonor for a samurai to shave his head. He did it to save this kid. That's the shining example that he's leading all these other people, all these other characters through the narrative. They're all behind him. And even though he's not a perfect character, he is definitely just worth following because he's that example.
He was an honest focal point to me in it because I love the fact that he was flawed and still kept striving to do what was right. I remember the first samurai they talked to, and he yelled at them, I'd rather starve than do this. I loved that. I really did. I really do love this movie. I was shocked how much I did the first time I saw it, and every time I see it since.
It's interesting, I think, in the sense that even by the time we get about halfway into the film, you realize that the farmers aren't quite the victims they pretend themselves to be. Or, maybe they're put in that position, but they're kind of scavengers. And so they sense weakness, when they pull out all the samurai armor. They're like, where the hell did you get all this? Oh, we've been killing samurai for a long time that are on the run and stealing all their armor. And you're like, where? Like, it's such a weird twist, because they're so cowardly. They don't have the guts to defend themselves against someone who's attacking, but they will
Okay, except they're still stuck in a caste system, and they are the lower caste. So there is a societal thing forcing them to not be able to step up. They're not considered equals to the samurai. Even in the fucked up situation where the samurai are masterless and they have no castle and they have no lord and they're just, scavengers themselves, they're still beneath the samurai.
How? I mean,
well,
is it
the monologue? The monologue by what's his name?
Mifune.
About farmers. Brilliant monologue where he starts out with all their faults and then builds up to, praising.
How they got that way.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have a favorite character? Was it Mifune?
Mifune was annoying. He was funny. He was annoying. I love his giant sword, which is just makes him stand out. But my favorite character is the I forget his name, the samurai that always smiles, like the right hand man.
Okay.
Yeah.
John,
he was mine. He was mine too. I was leaning towards him. I also really liked the young apprentice who wanted to be a samurai.
Yeah.
Which from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, you saw he was becoming like the samurai just by the look on his face after going through it the first time.
He's an interesting contrast to Mifune because he's not a samurai. Mifune's really not a samurai, and I just loved it when he pulls out his like title and he turns out he's 13 years old, and like they just, it's like perfect. They're like, yeah, that's your name. Whatever the name was you're pretending to be, that's who you actually are.
Right.
But I mean, they're just that they would sacrifice themselves for no apparent reason other than the collective good. Their own individual lives for really no reason. I mean, it's just this great story of heroism that I think Japan must have just been starving for.
Right.
Yes.
They just must have been starving.
Reminds me of all those movies that came out after Vietnam, where you had the anti-heroes, but you also had the patriotic heroes, and people swarmed to the patriotic films.
Yeah.
And a side character, Mike, I actually like the old man of the village.
Oh, the old man? Okay.
Yeah, I liked him because my favorite was when they said they found 7 samurai. We know you asked for 4, and he goes, I was expecting him to find 10.
Yeah.
If they found 10, they would have asked for 15. I loved that. I mean, he was the most realist of, I think, the group or the situation. He kind of knew what they were and where they were.
I think it gets to the point where, even the farmers in their desperation sort of have to put aside, their tradition in order to survive. But I thought it was interesting that once the danger is over, and this is perfectly illustrated in the young man and his little fling with that girl.
Yeah.
They're just they're forgotten about. When the battle's over and everything is ended, and 4 of them are dead. There's only 3. They almost sort of just go to instantly being ignored. The 3 that are survived.
Yeah.
There's no. You would think that there would be like this huge, honoring or some sort of welcoming into the community. Do you want to live here with us, and stay with us and become part of? No, they're forgotten about. I think what Bill brings up an interesting point in that the caste system immediately reasserts itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody goes back into their place. That girl completely forgets him. That last scene where he's just sitting there like, what the hell just happened? And she just goes back to planting rice or barley or whatever it is. They're singing their community song, and everything is just forgotten about. And I think that's the last line in the movie.
It's like this is a victory for them. It's not for us.
Samurai lose again.
All that.
Yeah, samurai lose again. And like for me to watch that, it doesn't end on a good feeling.
No.
Not for me. It didn't end on a good feeling. And maybe it's realistic, and maybe that's why it's not a good feeling, but it didn't. Like such a story of sacrifice and heroism ends on such a bittersweet kind of note. It's not even bittersweet. It's just kind of bitter.
Yeah.
For me, it seemed to sort of end on just this note where you're just like, okay, thanks for dying. We're just going to go back to planting our shit now. You can see your way out. The door's right over there. And I'm like, fuck you guys, man. It's just like, holy shit. Did that really just happen? And sure enough, I mean, it did.
And I hate to say that happens a lot when the fighting's over. It's like the scene when they thought the bandits were coming. You found the guy banging a stick.
Funny,
And he said, we showed up and you didn't even greet us. But when you were, Mr. Samurai, Mr. Samurai. And he was pointing it out to them how, and then he even dies and they right back at it. No, thank you. No, nothing.
There's a nice little detail when he died and they built his mound that the sword is twisted sideways.
Mm-hmm.
The three swords, or the three other swords, are all in a line. This is sort of twisted.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool visual for him and his.
Yeah, but that was him.
Yeah.
Are there any film? Because we're talking about the film. I mean, the group of farmers being attacked by bandits. They hire samurai on sustenance level wages. Please come defend us, so we don't die. They're going to come steal our women. We're going to starve to death when they steal all our food.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of the surface. I just spent 30 seconds talking about a 3.5-hour movie. Are there filmmakers today with this kind of focus?
Sure.
Who do you got?
Wow.
Oh, I would say Ari Aster is one. I would definitely say The Northman reminds me a lot of that. That was epic and just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
I think that there's a little bit of streamlining for American audiences, but there are filmmakers that are making movies like this, and I'm sure that they're 100% aware of Kurosawa and studied him and are bringing it there. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, come on. We were just talking about Pulp Fiction. Jesus Christ, if that's not storytelling like this, I don't know what is,
Exactly. I mean, you'll find it in some independent filmmakers, and then you'll find it in, this is the thing, because some independent filmmakers won't watch the same ones that, like, you see the Spielbergs or the George Lucases or whatever, but Kurosawa runs through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
They all seem to have that at the very lowest level, this honor and respect to the guy, and the way he approaches the story.
Yeah.
And like I've always said, that goes back to me. It's the storytelling, and he does a great job with it.
And I'm sure all of them got Kurosawa jammed down their throats when they went to film school. Mm-hmm. They had to. Tarantino just got it when he was sitting in that video store watching movie after movie after movie.
Mm-hmm.
The people that I think of when I think of this guy, Kurosawa, I think of James Cameron. I think of Christopher Nolan. I don't think that Eggers and as much as I love Eggers and Ari Aster and all, I don't think they're quite there yet, or maybe they're just not going to be on that level. But like Nolan, he drops just epics. Like even Kurosawa dropped a 90-minute epic with Rashomon. Now he does something with 2 extra hours onto it. Guess what? It's another fucking epic. He does Rand, 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's everything is just a fucking epic. And it's all different genres of film. It could be drama, it could be samurai, it could be a detective story. The story Ikiru about the guy who's just got stomach cancer. He's a bureaucrat who's got stomach cancer. He made a fucking masterpiece out of that. It's the finest film he's done. And so when you see that kind of variance, but at the same time, that same kind of focus, those are the two directors that pop into my head when I think of those guys.
Those two are great examples, Mike. I thought, and I stopped myself saying Steven Soderbergh, but he has that through line study. You could say Ridley Scott, but he's had a couple of clunkers in my opinion of late. But in his early days, he had that vision and to tell the story.
I heard someone compare him to the guy who did Mad Max, saying that
George Miller.
Yeah, that his epic movies are drawing from Kurosawa. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it's definitely he's great at telling stories without a lot of dialogue. just visual.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Using the visual.
This is one of the influences for Star Wars, the Hidden Fortress.
Right.
If you ever watch the Hidden Fortress, I mean, this is Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
This is Star Wars. Leia, Obi-Wan, 3PO, and R2. I mean, they're all fucking there, and you're like, holy shit! Like, this is A New Hope. Like, right here. Well, back then it wasn't A New Hope; it was just fucking Star Wars. But I mean, I mean, here's another thing. I mean, do you think that this film has any Western influences in it? Or is this pure? Because like I could see like a Western type of influence, John Ford. Like the hero.
You can compare it to Magnificent Seven, because it's definitely Magnificent Seven was influenced by it directly. But yeah, I'm thinking back to. It's like the British invasion. All right, it's like the British invasion, where all this American R&B went over to England. Brits tried to recreate it, couldn't do it, but did something completely different that became the British invasion. And then that went to America, and then British kids were copying the Beatles and British invasion, and were just repackaging American music, twice removed. It's the same thing. What films would Kurosawa have seen leading up to his career?
No joke intended. John Wayne Western.
John Wayne, John Wayne.
Yeah, those big, epic, sweeping shots of the open skies in Montana or wherever they were shooting at the time, Colorado. Those open air stories. I mean,
well, there wasn't a lot of open air shots in this movie like it was in Rashomon.
No, no, or in Rain.
He kept it more natural than sets.
Say again, John.
He kept it more natural than like really relying on sets. Even though, there was definitely set pieces, but like the rain falling, that. Christ, I mean, I don't want to use Kevin Costner as an example, but Kevin Costner kind of tries to do the same thing with his films.
He tries to do the epic. Yeah, he tries.
That epic. I mean, Open Range, even or
that one Horizon he did. You could see what he was trying to do. I can always see what Costner is trying to do. He doesn't always pull it off, but sometimes that's one of his 3-hour things, and you're like, this really isn't fucking bad. This is actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah. But he's another one who gets trashed on for being too long.
Yeah. Because hey, TikTok. Got to get your TikTok on. But I mean, this is the quintessential samurai film. This is the one that like all others like flow from this. So when we did 13 Assassins, like you could see the influence of 13 Assassins, putting the band together, recruiting people, going to what the fight's going to be, the huge fucking battle at the end that's like an hour long. I mean, it's got 7 samurai written over it. This turned into the Magnificent Seven. This is the Magnificent Seven, or the Magnificent Seven is this. They just made a Western. Recently, Zack Snyder did Rebel Moon, which he said was 7 samurai in space, which was supposed to be a Star Wars thing, but too dark for Star Wars. I mean, there's just influences before and after this, and this is almost like a hub. For like so many other things. Did you have a favorite scene or favorite shot?
One I wanted to bring up was the side quest about the peasant and his wife, because always something bad happens when the woman with no eyebrows shows up, and when his wife comes out after I guess being a concubine for the bandits. She comes out, sees her husband, runs back in and wants to die, wants to burn up in the burning building. That was one of my favorite side pieces. That came out of nowhere for me. I didn't see it coming, but I was like, oh, okay. That was a good one.
John, did you have a favorite scene or a favorite shot?
Well, you did mention the scene where the young girl meets the young samurai at the end and then goes back to doing the work on the barley. But for some reason, the one scene that always keeps sticking in my mind is when the father comes in with the razor to cut her hair.
Cut her hair.
And it always gets me. I have no idea why. It scares me a bit. To me, that's more frightening than some of the horror movies that we cover on this channel for some reason. It just because of the look of the father and that weight.
Yeah, it's like this,
not knowing what was going on, and
this sort of fearful, desperate thing, in his eyes, and he's just like, it's this weird, whacked out fucking idea that doesn't even work anyway, because she's just too goddamn pretty, even with short hair. That guy figures it out in about 30 seconds. He's like, oh you're not a boy. For me,
but they could have done that during Mulan too.
I never saw Mulan. I got to get around to that. I have Disney.
It's actually fun. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
My favorite scene is they're still in the recruitment phase, and somebody steals the rice. They have that jar of rice, and somebody steals the rice, and all he's got left is a handful. And it's just that scene where he's picking up grains of. It's like so futile and so sad. He's like picking up the individual little pieces. And it's just this shot of like scattered rice, and you're like, this is just so profoundly fucked up, like on so many levels.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't remember the guy's name. But the one samurai who fought the guy with the bamboo and then said, I would have killed you. Yeah. That one. If we used a real sword. That was another favorite one of mine.
That was a good scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's more like what would probably be easier to pick what's the worst scene. What's the one? Sorry.
No. Go I mean, it's also one of those films with it's pretty male dominated. Like Kurosawa did in 50. That woman plays pretty prominent role. In the retelling and then the retelling and then the retelling. Here, women barely have any role at all. Running around screaming or crying or something like that. I guess at the end, in a sense, you could say, heroism's kind of a thankless job. It's one of those virtue is its own reward kind of themes here, because these guys just give up everything for nothing, nothing tangible.
What are they giving up, really?
Huh?
What are they giving up, though? Really, they're just wandering Ronins. At least they got some honor in doing this good deed, instead of having nothing and being just another Ronin among hundreds of Ronins wandering around doing nothing.
Right. I agree, and it usually is a thankless job to be the hero.
You think that this task gave them some meaning?
Yeah, purpose.
Yeah, it gave them a purpose.
They were samurai again. They weren't just wandering guys with swords in their belts. They were doing something. Yeah.
The one last time, for some of them.
One last hoorah.
Or even for the young kid the first time.
Yeah. And who knows? You imagine he'll continue.
I think so.
It's him. It's the old man, the leader, who I thought did a great job as the leader of the samurai, and his one friend, that he knew from combat before, and they're the last of the three. Very, very, very good. Just I think it's a fantastic. Actually, I think it's a perfect film. But that's the thing.
Yeah, but I could have taken a knife to it and told that story.
Of course, it could have been 3 or 4 samurai.
Hours.
3 or 4 samurai.
3 samurais and a little lady. The musical.
That's it. 3 samurai.
Oh, that's a good one.
3 samurais and a little lady, short hair. Yeah, all right. All right. Is there any topic or theme we have not discussed in this film that you would like to address? Aku.
I don't think I could come up with anything that hasn't already been said by someone somewhere. This movie's been, talked to death. So
Yeah.
I feel like everything I've said has been said in some classroom somewhere at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not by anybody that'll watch this. Those people didn't attend those classes, so I wouldn't worry
Yeah.
about it.
What are you talking about? I heard Stockton University has a whole bunch of students watching this class.
Mhm.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that would be a good thing. That would be a good thing.
That would
I
be a
try
good
to
thing.
bring films that are worth discussing, or at least
Mhm.
I feel are
Hmm.
worth discussing. Actually, it's not that I feel, they actually are worth discussing. Okay, let's get to the part in the stream where we rate the film. This channel has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5 up by halves. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. So 0, for example, would be I'd rather spend this whole summer with no air conditioning rather than watch this movie again, all the way to 5, which is this is the journey, this is the destination, this is why I watch films in the first place. Aku! What would you give Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai?
You know why? I've already said it, so I'm going to give it a 4.5. I cannot go all in. I understand it's Kurosawa. I'm not taking anything away from the movie. It's just that it was a hard slog for me, and it wasn't as impactful to me as Rashomon or Ran, which both of them just blew my doors off. This one, great movie, not quite there for me. So 4.5.
All right, 4.5. You can give a 4.5 without me calling the IRS on you, so don't worry about it.
I'm just justifying,
All right. John K. Alvarez coming in off the bench, the designated samurai. What do you got for us?
I'm going with 5.
5.
It always makes me think at the end of this movie every time, and I usually think of different things, like or something I just noticed or something I haven't seen over before, and it always makes me wonder when he says this isn't our victory, it's theirs. It always makes me sit there and do exactly what we, nod the head. So to me, it's just good storytelling, and that's what I'm here for.
All right. And well, that's what you certainly get. For me, I'm going with a 5. Can't think of a thing that's wrong from beginning to end. Now, in my own defense, I didn't have 4 hours to sit down, so I had to watch it in pieces because I just don't have that kind of time these days. I wish I did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just as enjoyable as the first time I watched it. Like most films that I absolutely love, I have not watched it very often because I never want to get tired of it or anything like that. But it is the standard for samurai films. It's the standard it's a good standard for anti-war. Just a fantastic story. And I think just the thing that Japan needed in 1954, which is ironic. This is the same year that Godzilla dropped. So that was a good year for Japanese filmmaking.
Yeah.
I love Japan. I haven't been there since before the pandemic. I miss it very much. I'd like to get back there very soon. All right, Aku, would you like to plug something?
Yes. Oh, yes. My band, Soup Sandwich, will be playing on the beach in Belmar, New Jersey during the Belmar Pro Surf Contest. We are playing on the Sunday. The contest goes from the 5th to the 7th. We are playing on the 7th on the beach for free at 1 p.m. And that's the Belmar Beach right across from Eastern Line Surf Shop. So go check us out. We will be there September 7th in Belmar on the beach.
That does sound like a lot of fun. I cannot tell a lie. John K. Alvarez, what do you got for us? Anything?
This weekend, I work at a living history museum in South Jersey off of Route 9 or Seashore Road. They have 2 entrances. It's called Historic Cold Spring Village.
Okay.
But this weekend, on the weekends, they bring in some groups and what have you, or have a theme. This weekend's their biggest one. It's the Seafarer Weekend. Basically what it is a whole bunch of pirates show up and storm the village.
Nice.
And it's a blast. It really is. There's a group of people call themselves sea rats. They sleep at the village like pirates, and they build their own weapons and what have you, and they show people how to do it. There's another group. It's a hoot. They bring in a giant pirate ship.
Ooh.
That they cover the wheels, and then they drive it up the parkway to the Atlantic City Expressway to take it to Cherry Hill. And it's hysterical when you see a pirate on the back on the big wheel driving through. It's a blast of a weekend. The village opens up at 11 and it closes by 4 both days. If you get a chance to go and see it, it's seriously, it's a hoot. Bring the kids.
That sounds like a lot of fun. You guys got some good stuff lined up. Very cool. For me, absolutely nothing. No, just kidding. Let's see. Friday, I am going to Monster Mania Con in Cherry Hill
Nice.
at the Doubletree Hilton. So that's going to be a good time. I'm going to hopefully meet David Arquette, who I want him to get to sign my copy of Ravenous, which would be very cool, and talk a little Ravenous with him. Maybe talk a little pro wrestling. But the main reason I'm going is to see Sting. And I don't mean the bass player from the Police. I mean the wrestler that I grew up with watching fight Ric Flair and just about everybody else. Sting is now, I think, 64. He has fully retired from professional wrestling. And 2025 is going to be his last year making any sort of public appearances before he gets himself a nice, well-earned vacation after 40 years of beating the shit out of himself. So he's going to be there on Friday. I'm taking the day off, day after tomorrow, to go meet the guy. And I'm very much looking forward to that. I've never actually met I've been watching professional wrestling my whole life. I've never actually met a famous professional wrestler. I hope I'm not too starstruck. But I would just like to thank him for entertaining us all these years and, putting his back and his knees through all that fucking punishment just so, we could have something to do on a Saturday afternoon for an hour and ask him what it was like to wrestle Ric Flair for an hour. That's something I've always wanted to do. So I've got
Ask him what his favorite samurai movie is.
I'll ask him. Yeah, maybe. I thought about if I could get enough time. I don't know if I could. I could go on Adobe Express and make some business cards real quick with a QR code, and ask him if maybe one day he could spend 15 minutes on an interview or something like that on the channel. It's been a hellacious week for me. I made the stupidest mistake possible, which is volunteering for something at work. And it just has consumed my entire fucking week. I just finished it today. So it ate through everything else. So all my spare time has gone out the window. If I have some time, maybe tomorrow after work, I'll see about making a quick card or two when I take it to the con. And see who else is going to be there. David Harbour? Is that his name? David Harbour, the guy who played from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
The guy who played Hellboy. Yeah, David Harbour. He's going to be there. Edward Furlong's going to be there.
He just played Red Guardian and
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. Yeah,
he's good now.
I like him. I like him as an actor.
Yeah, so do I. And a couple other cool people are going to be there. So maybe I'll go check it out. I'll see if Ryan's coming along. We'll see how his back is doing. All right, that is it. Maybe we will get to some more Kurosawa. Maybe if people are game, I've got one more. We can pick a short one. If people are interested, hang out after the outro, and we'll talk about it for 2 minutes. My thanks to Aku, and my thanks to John K. Alvarez, the number 8 samurai. We will see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everyone. God bless you.
Bye.
Hey everybody, this is the American Werewolf. Thanks for stopping by. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button.